So let me explain like this. The Great Tribulation, we are going to prove that it is exactly 3.5 years long, not 7 years long. We're going to prove all of these things with the scriptures. Let's get into it. Show them a slide real quick. I need to break this concept down. Each one of these bars represents a time. The top one equals time, and that time equals 1 year. Now, if one bar equals 1 year, what do you think two bars equal? Okay, so one is time, two of them is times, and that equals 2 years. And then that half a bar is a divided one bar, making it half a time. This is the language that the scripture uses to explain how long the tribulation is going to be. It is time and times and the dividing of time. It's going to say it like that. Now, that's for people who have eyes to see and ears to hear. But it's also going to put it out there for people who like to count. If you like to count months, it's going to tell you it's exactly 42 months. And 42 months is 3.5 years. It's going to tell you exactly how many days it is using a Hebrew calendar. It's going to tell you exactly how many days it is using a modern day Julian calendar that did not exist at the time that he tells you how many days it's going to be. That is so that no one can be confused and think that it's going to be 7 years. All right, let's dive in. Give me Daniel chapter 12, and let's begin at verse 1. The scripture says, "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered." Delivered from what? Captivity. Delivered from the oppression of our enemies. "And at that time shall thy people be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book." Verse 2. It says, "And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake." They wake up. Okay, it says, "Some to everlasting life." Where's that located at? In the kingdom of heaven. "And some to shame and everlasting contempt." Where's that located at? That's in the lake of fire. Let's keep going. Let's find out who's going to be where. It says, "And they that be wise," let's pause right there. Somebody tell me, what makes me wise? The law? Give me a precept real quick. Give me Psalms chapter 19, verse 7. It just popped into my mind. The scripture says, "The law of Yahawah is perfect." What does it do? Converting the soul. "The testimony of Yahawah is sure." What does it do? Making wise the simple. So what do I need? What's located in this verse? I have the law and the testimony. What's it going to do? It's going to make me perfect and make me wise. Now, you guys have wisdom that a lot of people in the world do not have. You need to thank Yah for that every single day and ask him to continue to pour out his wisdom. Give me Psalms 119, verse 142. If you're taking notes, write this verse down, because it says what's going to happen to you if you turn people to righteousness. And I know a whole religion of people who think that they're turning people to righteousness. They're actually turning them away from right choiceness. This is Psalms 119, verse 142. It says, "Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth." His law is the truth. His righteousness is the truth. Let's take another look at this times. Give me Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. This is a scripture regarding the Antichrist, who came at the opening of the first seal. When the Christ came, the Antichrist also came. It says, "And he," that's Antichrist, "shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws." What is he going to change? He's going to change the times. Okay, name a time that he changed. He changed the Sabbath from Saturday on to Sunday. What about the beginning of the year? He changed the day that the beginning of the year starts. What about the new moon? He changed when the new moon starts. What about this leap year thing? He just popped a whole nother day and he's like, "I don't care. I'm going to change everything." "And they shall be given into his hand." So he's allowed to do that. For how long? Until a time and times and the dividing of time. He's allowed to do whatever he wants to do until the end of the Great Tribulation. He can do whatever he wants to do. Okay, "And the woman fled," where'd she go? "Into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of Yah, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. If we see the signs and we leave on time, how long will we be in the wilderness for? We'll be there for the whole 3.5 years. We will not be going through the tribulation that the non-awakened are going through. All of Israel does not leave in advance. You know why? The majority of Israelites still have their eyes closed and they're covering their ears. They were like, nah, I don't want to see what the scripture says. I'm not listening to you. That's what they're doing. So they're going to see you leave, packing up your stuff, driving away, and they're going to be like, y'all crazy. And nothing may happen for a week. Nothing may happen for a month. We're over there in our place, our sanctuary, getting everything prepared, and then boom, they say, oh, I wonder if it's too late. Yeah, it's too late because the power is off, and when you're on the phone, you can't dial it, so you can't contact me to figure out where we are. There's going to be a time period when it's too late. That's why we must prepare spiritually, mentally, and physically for this great tribulation which is coming. One of the things that we are watching for to happen in this war with Palestine and Hamas, so-called Israel and Hamas, one of the things that we are watching for is the destruction of the temple that's on the Temple Mount. Right now it is a Muslim temple, but the Jewish people desire to have that temple destroyed so that they can build the third temple of Solomon. Their Talmud says that their Messiah cannot come for the first time until the third temple is built. So this is crucial. I know you're seeing all kinds of stuff on the news. Stay focused on the prophecy. They have to build a third temple, and their Messiah has to come and stand in that temple, and they're going to start doing sacrifices again. And that's what this is making a reference to. It says, from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Guess how long that is? That's exactly 3.5 years on a Julian calendar. And the Julian calendar has not yet been invented during the time of Daniel. Rome doesn't even exist. We are under Babylonian captivity. It went Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, then the Romans. So he put the time period for the Hebrew calendar, he put that during the time of the Julian calendar. And for those who were using the Julian calendar, he said, you better go back into that Old Testament and take a look at Daniel and understand it's still going to be 3.5 years. So don't let nobody tell you it's going to be a 7-year tribulation. That just means they don't use precepts. Let's get to this last judgment part of it. Revelation chapter 20, give me verse 4. Scripture says, and I saw thrones. What's a throne? So he saw some seats, and they sat upon them. Who's sitting on these seats? Israel is sitting on, yeah. And judgment was given unto them. What does that mean? They're about to get judged, or they're about to do the judging? If they're going to do the judging, there's one thing that they need to know. What is it? Okay, so judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded. What are they beheaded for? Look, for the witness of yahawashi and for the word of the Most High. What is that? The law and the testimony. That's why we preach it so heavily. And which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. Give me the next verse. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. That means there's still dead people in the earth, right? When do they come back to life? 1,000 years after this. Okay, so now we're going to look at the last judgment. It says, this is the first resurrection. We rose in the first resurrection. Does that make sense? I know we've covered this many times, and hopefully every time we cover it, it gets more and more crystal clear, because they do not teach this in modern day Christianity. They teach you that if a bullet, God forbid, struck you right now, you will be smiling down on your relatives from heaven in 10 seconds. Pow! Oh, well, he's in heaven now. He's in a better place. You think that pine box is a better place? He's in the dirt. They teach a whole different story. That's the reason why we must cover this over and over. Those people who did not keep the law and the testimony, they're still in the dirt for an additional 1,000 years. We have already been translated. We are already in the kingdom. There's no more time for us. We can never die, but we are still here on the earth. Okay? Because the last judgment has not yet taken place. At some point, those people who did not believe in the law and the testimony, they need to come up out of that dirt so that they can be judged. Okay, let's find out. Give me verse 6. He says, blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. What are you? You blessed and holy. On such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of Yah and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Well, what's he gonna do? He mad. He mad. But what's his only? He's a one-trick pony. What's his trick? He gotta lie. He's gotta tell us. We have been living and reigning. We're already translated, bro. I can poof now, right? I can be like, boom, I'm in New York. Boom, I'm in Hawaii. I can poof. And there's people on the earth who see me and know that I have this ability, and they have lived and worshiped the Christ for 1,000 years. Satan is going to get out, and somehow he's still able to deceive them. Give me verse 8. So he gets loosed out of his prison. It says, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog. What's Gog and Magog? Who are the people of Gog? They're Gentiles. They are the flesh and blood descendants of Japheth, found in the book of Genesis. Okay, it says to gather them together to battle. Oh, it's a battle. Okay. The number of whom is as the sand of the sea. There's a lot of them. Give me this next verse. It says, and they went up upon the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints. Where's our camp located at? Jerusalem. And the beloved city. They have completely surrounded us. But what happens to them? And fire came down from Yah out of heaven and devoured them. See, that battle is already, we don't have to even fight. He's going to handle that battle for us. Verse 10. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone. So he was in the bottomless pit, comes out of the bottomless pit, gets thrown into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Does he ever get out of there? No, he does not. Okay, now he's already in there. That's his final judgment. Give me verse 11. It says, and I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it. Who's sitting on the throne? The Father is sitting on the throne, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. The them is not the heaven and the earth. The them are the people that are about to come up out of the grave, because there's no more heaven and there's no more earth. And if you was dead and you're not already translated, there's no place left for you. That's what it says in the next verse. Give me verse 12. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before Yah, and the books were opened. And another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which are written in the books according to what their pastor taught them. You don't say that, huh? Look at it closely. You don't say that. It says, and they were judged, every man according to their works. Not according to their faith, because faith without works is... Okay, so you get judged according to your works. Give me verse 14. We don't need death and hell no more. So guess what? And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Verse 15. Let's put some more people in there. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. I have one last verse for you. Give me 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. This is the reason why we have to go precept upon precept, because the scripture says, prove all things. Hold fast that which is good. If you can't prove it, don't believe it. Don't believe what people say, believe what they do. Require the proof. Say, show me the scriptures. Make it make sense.